I'm the Twitch stream guy.
Unqualified.
I'm the Twitch stream
Unqualified.
guy. So I know how to.
This isn't gonna work out, is it?
I already want to.
You guys are both really good at this. You guys are both really.
Thank you.
Really good at this.
Hey, listener/viewer. I'm Cody of Unqualified Gamers, and I'm joined by my usual cohort/partner/sexual conquest, Jonathan Martin.
Never gonna happen. I keep telling you that it's never gonna happen.
No, I'm talking about the time you sexually conquested me. I considered that a victory.
It's never gonna happen again. I keep saying that it's never gonna happen again.
I'm glad we are agreed. And Ryan of Darrel TV.twitch.tv.org.tv.channel, right?
Oh, hey, that's me.
the YouTube.
The YouTube.
Right.
Yeah. So here's what happened with that. This is episode 106 of Unqualified Gamers. We've been around for a while. Darrel TV has only broadcast 3 times. So it's this dying, just fledgling, flailing infant of a thing that just is breathing its first breaths into this world and really doesn't even know what air is yet.
To be fair, Darrel TV has only been around for 3 years. So
Yes.
I mean that's been roughly a stream per year. That's not that bad.
That's true. I thought it was 13 years.
Like Final Fantasy 13 years?
Haha, bringing it back around. No, but what happened was Ryan's got this great, arguably great Twitch channel, and then John and I were like,
he's got a Twitch channel.
Yeah, he does. And then John and I were like, we don't have time to stream because we have a life and real friends. Mine are 20 years old. John's are 50 because he's old. But neither of us have time because we have real lives. And then Ryan comes along and he's like, "Dur, dur, dur, people don't talk to me," because he's half robot and half 1930s gangster. And we thought to ourselves, what if we used his body against his will to stream things?
So what Cody's trying to say is, we have talked extensively in the past about trying to kind of branch ourselves out, do more and more stuff. And it basically has come down to we've realized that there's not a lot more that Cody and I are going to be able to do. We're taking on what we can, but just with real life, that what we are doing is what we can do right now. And so the solution then, if we want to provide more content to our viewers, is to enlist the help of more people. Darrel Ryan here, that's his first, middle, and last name, which is why it's called Darrel TV.
I thought his last name was Mario.
Ryan Darrel Mario.
Darrel is my middle name, and Mario is my last name.
Right. So Ryan Darrel Mario is here, and he.
Doctor.
Well, that's your title. I've known you for a long time, so I usually don't use your title when I address you. But I guess the viewer can call you Dr. Ryan Darrel Mario. But the point is Ryan is going to take on the responsibility of being the Twitch streamer for Unqualified Gamers, which is really cool because we got some more help. We got some more people on board with kind of our project. So, Ryan, what kind of games do you play?
I'm here to help everyone. I Twitch stream the games, and you guys can come on. I'll come on down and watch it on the Darrel TV.
To be fair, he's not really it's not like he's streaming for us per se. It's more of a partnership than anything else.
Right.
But I would consider him in a way the official streamer of Unqualified Gamers. He will hopefully slap our logo on his stuff, and we will talk about him and let him talk sometimes, but only when I don't feel like talking more. Ryan?
More. So you can find him at twitch.tv, and then it's Darrel TV, Darrel TV. Is that right?
That is correct.
And we have our first question for you, Ryan, if you're ready for this. All right, from the Q&A section, Malaka Garib says, "Hi, guys." Okay, good question. Thank you.
Oh.
What is your response to that, Ryan?
Do you even have one?
I wasn't told there would be questions, so I kind of not prepared for this. But I have Darrel TV, and if anyone wants to see it, I'll be there. And anyone, be square. And if you don't see it, then hey, what's up, back, baby?
This must have been the worst idea we ever had, actually.
We have another question for you, Ryan.
Okay.
From Malaka Garib. Sorry to be a creeper, just trying out the Q&A feature, and you guys are my guinea pigs, smiley face.
How do you feel about that, Ryan?
Actually, I don't think the Q&A feature is working because I'm hearing some Q, not so much A. So.
Well, we're a family-friendly podcast, so we can't have that much A. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're talking about like TNT, the channel, right?
Yeah, or like TNA. Total Nonstop Action Wrestling. Did you see WrestleMania this week, by the way?
Is this where we're going to talk about our weekends?
This is where we're going to talk about wrestling, because every week on our video game podcast, Jon wants to talk about professional wrestling. Isn't that right?
That has literally never been a thing I have ever wanted to talk about on this show. You talk about it, I think, every other episode, though, that we record.
It's really not true. It's really not true. I don't think that we... I don't think that's accurate. I think if you asked Ryan Dombrowski, the official historian of Unqualified Gamers, he's not our official historian, but I consider him that because he's like my favorite person ever most of the time. And I think that he would disagree and be like, I've listened to every episode, and Cody hasn't talked about wrestling.
Tell me about WrestleMania, because we're all dying to hear it here on Darrel TV.
WrestleMania was so good. Brock Lesnar was in the main event, and it was really good. We have another question from another person. John asks, John with an H, I've never heard of you guys. Can you describe what you're about, what you do? What are you aiming for? Great question, John.
I think I can take this. Oh.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Darrel.
Here at Darrel TV, we do a whole lot of things, but mostly just got a whole lot of Darrel and sometimes a little bit of gaming, but not qualified for that part. Back to you, Roger.
That's you, John.
If you couldn't tell, we're a video game podcast. If you couldn't tell from this...
From talking about video games.
Horrible intro. So we have been doing a video game podcast for 106 episodes now, and it pretty much always goes like this.
This is kind of special even for us.
Yeah. But we typically start off each episode by talking a little bit about, because we're people, and so we like to talk about what we did on our weekends. And so Cody pretty much only either does 20-year-old parties or wrestling on his weekends. And this is one of the weekends where he did wrestling. So, like, that's what we're talking about.
Sure. And also, what we're about is we review games and give you context for who would like them and who wouldn't. Because, like, IGN or Destructoid, they might say, like, 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10, but audiences are different. There's lots of different kinds of gamers. So what Jon and I do is, like, Jon has a wife and a son. So, like, World of Warcraft could be fun for him for a little bit, but he can't sink 30 or 40 hours into raids every week. So maybe from that perspective, he won't enjoy it as much as, say, me. I am single, living on my own. I can kind of do whatever I want. I can binge on a video game for 15 or 20 hours in one day, and it doesn't matter. So maybe that game is better for me. So we gave you some context around a game, why we like it and don't like it. And then the nice thing about podcasts is you get to know the hosts, ideally, over time, and then you can kind of be like, well, I more relate to this one or this one, and that's why I like their opinion or not. And on this episode, we're announcing that we're partnering with Darrel TV, the Twitch streamer, who is borderline mentally...
Me.
That's him. And he has a hilarious Twitch TV channel, which should be pretty entertaining. Hopefully, it actually is hilarious. John, did you watch any of the stream of me this weekend with him?
I tried, and the video was not accessible. It would not load. On
Oh
the
no,
device.
Ryan, you saved it, didn't you?
Yes, I actually had that same problem when I was trying to look at it on my phone, but I haven't tried on my computer yet.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's a mobile issue.
Okay, but you do have it saved somewhere, right?
Yes, I at least have the first game that we played saved, but the second one I still have to check if we were even recording.
All right, I'll talk about the second one in a second. But one other quick question before we move on to our weekends, which all ties together. John also asked, "Are you guys interested in Halo 5? What do you think about it?"
You're about the only one that would be probably interested, I think, between the three of us.
Yeah, that's another interesting thing is we all have different standpoints. I'm the first-person shooter guy, I guess, de facto, even other than I do.
You're the Halo guy.
I'm the Halo and Call of Duty guy.
You really like Halo.
I know nothing about Halo 5. It'll probably come out at some point and be a Halo game and be good. I don't have an Xbox One. I don't have the money for an Xbox One, so I can't play it. And the only thing tempting me to get an Xbox One was the Master Chief Collection, which apparently the online multiplayer still doesn't work, so I'm kind of over it. I might get a PS4 because I really want to play Final Fantasy 15. But yeah, we don't have Xbox Ones. We don't have that much money. We don't get paid to do this. We do it out of the goodness of our hearts and for Darrel.
Mostly for Darrel.
Mostly for Darrel.
I do it for the goodness of my heart.
So our weekend, this weekend I actually went to Iowa because our good friend Logan, one of our co-hosts on Unqualified Experts, there's so much mucus in my throat. John, you're a pharmacist. How do I get it to go away? I have been sniffling and coughing up phlegm for like 3 weeks.
I think there's some experts that may be able to help you tomorrow night.
No, I really want to know. It's very annoying.
I would say you should probably take some Zyrtec every day for a while because allergies are really bad right now. Maybe Mucinex if it's really phlegmy and you want to get it out of there. You could try that too, and lots of water. I would say you should probably go with the Zyrtec or Claritin every day though for a while.
John's a pharmacist, by the way, so this is actual good advice. Zyrtec will kill me. Zyrtec makes me less functional than Ryan sober.
You should take it at night, like about an hour before you go to bed.
No, it'll kill me for 24 hours. Zyrtec will mess me up. Zyrtec is like the Coupe de Gracie. It is like my Achilles heel of hard drugs.
I really need you to tell me about wrestling, or this episode is going to be 6 hours long.
Did you become one with the Zyrtec?
So I went to Iowa to meet our co-host from Unqualified Experts, Logan. He had a baby a few months ago, and he was in Iowa showing it off to people. It went on tour. He brought his baby on tour. Has Max been on tour yet? Have you brought your kid on tour?
Yeah, we went down to Rockford once, and that was a 7-hour drive that is probably not advisable with an infant.
Oh, you had the drive from hell. You told that story on this podcast, right?
I think I did. It wasn't really a drive. It's not so much a drive from hell. It's just like infants don't want to be in the car for that long.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a drive to hell.
Yeah, and that's actually probably more accurate.
Yeah, Logan told us, because I remember thinking of you, because Logan was like, oh my god, she slept the whole time. It was like a miracle.
That's
and
incredible.
He was superbly thankful. He probably heard our episode and was probably dreading it the whole time because of you.
Or he drugged his kid. I mean,
or he drugged his kid.
Yeah,
There's
there's lots of options.
So anyway, I went to go meet this baby, and then I ended up staying at Ryan's place because Ryan lives outside of Iowa, just across the border, so it was easy for me to get to him. And we streamed a bad game, a really bad, horrifying game that is about sex.
Wait, Mount Your Friends?
Yes.
That game is awesome.
Have you played that game?
No, but I've seen it being played. It's hilarious.
It is. It's literally dicks flopping around, and I'm not like that's not a joke.
Yeah, no, I know. It's hilarious.
It's dude's junk flopping around. It's called Mount Your Friends. I'll let your imaginations go to it. And Ryan, you do have the recording of us doing it, which I don't think we're going to upload because we were really drunk.
We were really, really drunk. And if you think that game is hilarious, wait till you don't see us play it because, man, was it probably okay to watch, but probably not very funny because we're too drunk for that, I think. We're a little bit too drunk to actually be funny.
Yeah, no, there definitely comes a point. There's a tipping point.
Or at least I was. I think Cody was just screaming the entire time, and I was just laughing. And then we got to by the time we got to the next game, I don't think we were doing anything except for just playing in zombie mode.
The best part is the second game we played. What was it called?
Crawl.
Crawl.
Yes.
Have you heard of that, John?
I've heard. I want to say I've actually heard good things about that game. Maybe is it like a dungeon crawler?
It's like a dungeon crawler where it's 2 to 4 players and one player plays as the hero and the other players.
Yeah, I have heard of this game.
Yeah.
As enemies.
So the other players play as enemies or these ghosts that float around and they try to spawn enemies and become enemies temporarily to try to kill the hero and then take the hero's place to try to beat the game first. So it's actually a pretty fun game. It's got like a retro style and it's got really cool music. But I mean, when you're playing it, in Cody's case, for the first time, when you're completely trash, it's kind of hard to actually grasp the real. Well, I don't know. We just were dying a lot. That's pretty much how it went.
Yeah, I was dead pretty much the whole time, and it was miserable for that reason. But the best part of it was that I was, well, first of all, we almost finished not a handle, but what's the next biggest thing of whiskey? Like a liter?
A big old bottle.
Like a
big old bottle.
750.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Was it a 750?
I think it was, yeah.
We almost finished a 750 of Bullet whiskey by ourselves.
That's probably too much whiskey.
It was way too much whiskey, and we did not appreciate it in the morning, or some of us even during the night as well.
Oh, I was fine in the morning. After I got through the night, yeah. Yeah. Because there was nothing left in my body. That wasn't a joke.
Yeah, no, it was good. So the best part was that so we get to the second game, and then after we finished playing, so first of all, probably 15 minutes into playing Crawl, I looked over at Ryan and I was like, we haven't said a word this entire time.
Well, I think we forgot we were streaming, and at least I did, and I think part of that was because we actually weren't even streaming, even though we thought we were. So
that was the best part was, so we forgot we forgot that we thought we were streaming. So then I started talking a bunch, and then we started getting more into it, and then we started yelling again and getting into yelling mode again, and then finished the stream. I think I just went to the bathroom for and just got lost or something before coming back, and I came back to a screen that said that we weren't broadcasting. So we may have been drunkenly in a room by ourselves at 1:30 in the morning screaming at a game thinking we were streaming, but it was really just the two of us screaming in a room by ourselves.
Okay, and that's pretty good.
I think that makes it a better story, to be totally honest.
And the power was off on the computer the entire time, so I don't know what we were looking at, but it was pretty angry.
And that makes it an even better story.
Yeah, so that was kind of weird. But we had a fun Iowa trip. It was good seeing Ryan. He was a good host. We did really traditional Iowa things, like get sushi. Very traditional.
Yeah, you can
Iowa.
get some very fresh, straight out of the water sushi there.
Right, because of all the fresh water, lakes and ocean.
Fresh out the Mississippi.
And then Sunday, you watched WrestleMania.
Yeah, and it was awesome, and that's all I have to say about that.
Perfect. Great. I'm glad we led up to that. That was good.
Rusev came out in a tank. He literally
who,
came out in a tank.
I don't know who Rusev is.
Doesn't matter. He's a Russian. He's this undefeated Russian super athlete like Ivan Drago, only he's played by a Samoan, and he came out in a tank.
He's a Russian Samoan?
Yeah, a Rush-Samoan.
That's okay.
So how was your weekend, Jonathan?
It was full of wedding. My wife was in a wedding, which means that I was with Max.
Wait, wasn't she already married?
So Friday was the rehearsal dinner thing, and I was at that, and that ends up being the whole night because Max is at Grandma's, and we go to the rehearsal dinner. We got to go pick up Max at Grandma's, and we go home, and it's time for bed. Then Saturday was the actual wedding, and since she was in it, she had to be at the place of preparation at like 11 o'clock, and so I hung out with Max the whole day, and then that night we got our first babysitter ever, like somebody that came to our house that we didn't know that well to babysit our baby, and that was pretty cool. That was it ended up going super well, and I guess Max was great. And that was all fine, and that's a wedding, so that takes the entire evening, and then Sunday is like recovery from the wedding day. So that was pretty much it. I did go see on Sunday night. I saw a horror movie called It Follows.
How was that? I'm really interested in that.
It was. I really, really liked it. The two people that I was with liked it, but did not like it as much as me. But I'm used to that kind of situation because I think I tend to
have really bad tastes,
become overly enthusiastic about things a little more easily. So it's a horror movie that like came out in like one city, and there was all this like buzz. There was crazy buzz that generated from this movie, and then it got a wide release because of how much buzz it got. And I don't really want to like talk about it all that much, other than if you at all like David Lynch, whether you like his films or you like Twin Peaks, I think there's a lot of Lynch in this director's style. So I really, really enjoyed it because I really like David Lynch.
Ryan, do you like David Lynch?
I do, Cody.
How would you compare your Twitch channel to David Lynch?
I would actually call Ryan's Twitch channel the David Lynch of Twitch channels. I think Darrel TV is the David Lynch of Darrel.
I think inevitably it's going to reach that point, and I'm striving for that, but I don't think I've quite reached it yet. There's too much things happening, and not enough things for you to. Did that happen?
I mean, if you think about your typical David Lynch film, a lot of the times he uses these really long shots, like one long shot. Ryan, do you ever cut in the middle of your broadcasts? He never cuts. It's just like David Lynch. I mean, really,
that's true.
Yeah,
we did actually cut in between those two games that we played.
Well, I mean, every director has to put like one cut in his movie, right? And just like that was just you cut at the most.
Or just stop filming. We just stopped filming, really. Let's call it a movie in the middle of the movie.
Yeah, it was a perfect cut.
Which is kind of like David Lynch.
Right. Yeah, no, it kind of is. So, anyway, go see It Follows if it's playing near you. I highly recommend it. It's quite good. So that was my weekend. And then
because you're big into horror movies.
Oh, I freaking live my favorite genre of movie. I love horror movies. So, like, when something like this comes along, when there's a horror movie that comes along that gets as much buzz as this movie did, I had to go see it. So, yeah, really good. And, like, no jump scares.
Oh, that's awesome.
0 jump scares, still very terrifying.
Okay, then I would actually see it. That's the only reason I don't like horror movies is jump scares.
Yeah, no jump scares. It's just like it's sheer terror.
Nice.
I mean, it's great.
All right, and I already regret asking this question, but Ryan, how was your weekend that I already mostly just described?
Well, my weekend was a blur. It was a blur. I think I recorded some of it, but I've yet to review the footage, so I could not honestly tell you. I actually have to get back to you on that because I don't think I was actually alive this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So that's pretty much it.
Perfect.
But you watched Unqualified Experts and you liked it.
Yes, I did watch Unqualified Experts, and I liked it even though Logan was in it. I still liked it. Sometimes he talked. Sometimes he didn't talk, and that was great. And then sometimes he didn't talk, and then it showed his face, and that was pretty awesome. Because, man, guys was like, what's going on? Get with it, buddy. I'm going to get you. So, anyway, that's a very good show. You guys, sometimes I thought you guys knew a lot of stuff. So, I thought it was pretty good. So, that's what I got out of it.
Excellent.
Good, yeah.
I don't know who that guy was you guys were talking about the whole time, but I think I learned a lot.
Charles Dickens?
Cody was, of course, referring to the new project that we started about 2 weeks ago called Unqualified Experts. If you haven't checked that out, you can check that out on our website. It's there.
Yes. It's on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/unqualifiedpodcast. Unqualified Experts is our non-gaming related endeavor. We also took last week off from our podcast so that I could, instead of Jon and I couldn't get our schedules right, so I posted a video review of Game Loading Rise of the Indies, which is it's on our website, but it's a YouTube exclusive. It's not on our iTunes feed. So if you're a regular listener through iTunes or Stitcher, then go ahead and go to our YouTube channel to check that out. And I think we do a decent job of summarizing it. Go ahead, Jon.
There was another question that somebody asked as a comment to our video. It was, are we excited for the Nintendo Direct tomorrow? So Nintendo just up and announced a Nintendo Direct about future Wii U games and 3DS games today for tomorrow. And am I excited? I don't know. I mean, we know Zelda got delayed until 2016. I don't really know what else is coming. So I guess I'm excited.
Star Fox?
I'm excited that there might be something new announced. Maybe. Maybe it'll just be new info on Splatoon and stuff, which is not a game I'm terribly excited about personally. So I don't know. It's hard to be excited because unless there's some crazy surprise about a game that hasn't been announced yet, I guess I'm not all that excited about it.
Here's why I'm not excited about it. Some cool things could happen, but I'm already oops. One momento. As happens sometimes. I'm not excited actively because I am quite content with video games right now. I would be more content with everything if I could find a pen. There we go. I'm pretty content with video games right now. I play a lot of Hyrule Warriors. I have plenty of games that I haven't played that I would like to play that I just haven't got to. I don't need any new games right now. I have a huge backlog of games I'm already excited about. And I have no reason to be excited. If they announce something cool, then I will be excited for when that thing comes out. But I don't need anything right now. And that's kind of where I'm at.
And now, Ryan, you don't have a Wii U, right? So
he does.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. My girlfriend has a Wii U, so I get to reap the benefits. Wii U with benefits, baby. That kind of relationship. Sorry.
I mean, that's gross. That's disgusting. This is a family-friendly podcast. Tell me about your dirty sex life.
I'm friendly with families.
All right. So do you get to play Wii U games? I mean, do you play them often, or are you still more of a PC gamer? It seems to me like you're a PC gamer. At least that's what I see you playing most of the time.
I've always been a fan of the Wii and the Nintendos, all them Nintendos peoples, all those consoles that they had. Been a fan.
Okay, so you've been playing some Wii U as well then?
Yeah, well, most of the time I am PC gaming, but yeah, I do play a little bit of Smash on the Wii U.
I will say that Ryan is deficient in the ways of Smash Brothers because he does not play with items turned on. Ever.
All right, I'm sorry. Have you heard of the Smash community? I mean, do any of them play with items? I mean, come on, let's step your game up here, buddy, because items are for little babies who are like, I want to play the game, but I don't want to have the skill, so I want to just get the item to make me win instantly.
Oh. Babies say that all the time.
I know, and you're like,
I forgot they balanced dozens of items and put them in every Smash Brothers game because no one uses them. That's why they're there. That's because why put a feature in? Why make a video game and not include like a huge, massive component that is baked into single-player mode by default? Why have that there? Why not have something there that you're not using in any way whatsoever outside of the intended experience?
Ryan, I'm going to say that he sounded a lot like that baby that you were just imitating just now. It sounded exactly like that.
He was actually one of my biggest influences for that impersonation. But yeah, I mean, items are balanced, like one that gives you like a super move versus like a little Mr. Saturn or something. I mean, they're not balanced. Come on, and you know what? Because that game's not balanced. And why would they make a game that's, I mean, with items on, it's not balanced. It's a very balanced game without items.
Well, with items on, it's fun.
Well, yeah, it's like Mario Party. I mean, they obviously weren't trying to balance that game series. They're just like, the target audience is a bunch of partying silly heads who are gonna play it, and it doesn't really matter what happens in the game. Someone random's gonna win in the end anyway.
Well, see, I thought that the audience for Mario Party was nobody.
Yeah, I actually am thinking about getting Mario Party 10 because it comes with a free Mario amiibo, and I don't have a Mario amiibo yet.
Okay, so Ryan, are you at all excited about the Nintendo Direct? Did you even know it was happening?
Is the Nintendo Direct that video of like announcements?
Yeah.
I saw some of it, but
well, this would be tomorrow. This is going on tomorrow.
Oh, I must have saw an old one then.
So Ryan didn't even know about the one tomorrow. So to answer your question, no, I don't think any of us are terribly excited about it. If something comes up, we will get excited about it. But as of right now, no, we're not. We haven't really been thinking about it all that much.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was happening, and we love Nintendo on this podcast. I mean, I'm an incredibly diehard Nintendo fan, but there's like, I have put so many hours into Hyrule Warriors, and so has Jon. Like, that it's ridiculous, and I continue to. I bought Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker 2 weeks ago, and I still haven't even opened it. And there are other things coming out that I want to play that I haven't even touched. Like, I have so many games, and and it's not like one of those like, oh, I got like 10 games on a humble indie bundle, and I haven't played 8 of them that I've never heard of before. It's like I have like AAA titles I have not yet, but like I haven't beaten Wonderful 101 yet. I've had that for like a year. I haven't played Transistor yet, which I bought the day it came out. It's by Supergiant Games. Supergiant Games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the people that did Bastion, which was an amazing game. It was one of my games of the year that I played it. Yeah, I haven't talked. Like, there's so many. It's just like what's Nintendo gonna do? They're gonna say, oh, a Star Fox game is coming out in 6 months. I mean, that's cool. And then, like, around the holidays, I'll get excited. But I don't have time to look forward. If I spent every day waking up thinking to myself how excited I am to play Final Fantasy 15, I'd probably literally kill myself. Because at this point, it's been in development for like 9 years, and it's probably not going to come out until 2019. So I choose to stay more in the moment, in the present, and not really think about the stuff that's like way off in the distance, because it'll just drive me crazy. That went for Smash Brothers as well. Smash Brothers I played the hell out of when it came out, but I did not I didn't let it be on my radar, taking up blips, leading up to that. Once it's out, that's when I'll talk. But I can't do that to myself anymore. It's just not how I operate.
So, transitioning then, did you play anything other than Hyrule Warriors this weekend?
I actually did. Speaking of Final Fantasy games, and I'm not going to give a full review this week, but I imagine I will next week, but I played Final Fantasy Record Keeper, the mobile game.
Now, that's the game that was huge in Japan. I don't remember exactly when it came out. It might have been a few months ago, maybe even like a year ago. But it was in Japan before it made it here. And
I did not know that.
It was a very big deal in Japan.
Yeah, well, I got it. It's for free on the Android App Store or Android Google Play Store or the app, whatever. You know what I mean. It's on iTunes and Android, Apple and Android. It's on phones. You can get it on your fucking phone. How's that? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, that is correct.
All right, yeah. So I got it on my phone, and it's really good. It's like a legit Final Fantasy game.
What is it?
So the mechanics and the storyline is very simple, but the mechanics operate and function like a Final Fantasy game. And the story is there's this like Hall of Records. And
every Final Fantasy game, literally every single one of them is different. So that gives me zero information. Like, what do you mean it operates like a
Final Fantasy game in that there is in that the game mechanics.
Which Final Fantasy game?
Every Final Fantasy game has in common, but that they have a distinct magic and equipment and upgrade system.
No, they don't. They are all completely different.
Yes, they are, and they all have a distinct one, and this game also has a distinct one.
So it is unlike any other Final Fantasy game.
Nerd fight!
I don't understand what you're saying. You're giving me zero information here.
Every Final Fantasy game introduces a magic system and an equipment system that are dynamic. It's like an RPG. Okay, what I'm saying is it plays like a video game and not like a shitty mobile game where you touch 3 buttons and then wait a day to grow plants or some garbage. It's not a piece of crap. It's not shovelware. It's not a game. That's a double negative I just used there. And yes, that's like a pretty low bar to set, but it's worth noting for a mobile game. I've never played a good, fun mobile game, except like Angry Birds. Because I don't play Candy Crush.
I have been waiting for a mobile game that's not a mobile game for a long time. So
you play Plants vs. Zombies. You liked that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been waiting for a mobile game that's not mobile, not a game for a long time. So this could be the game I'm waiting for. You really made it sound good.
Or it could not be.
Yeah, it could. That's a possibility too. So, but no, I'm on board.
Cool. Well, that's my review. Back to you.
Yeah, well done. Well done. No, it was very informative. I'm glad you could share that with us.
You're welcome.
Ryan, what did you play this weekend? Was it also not a mobile game?
Well, I do always play one particular mobile game, which is Scramble. It's a word game. Cody used to play me in it until he got scared.
You cheat at it.
Are you sure he's not just like really good at it?
No, he cheats at it to piss me off, and that's why I stopped playing.
Because I've watched him play games before, like Binding of Isaac. I've watched him play Binding of Isaac, and he is better at that game than I am, certainly. And I'm decent at it. So I think Ryan might actually be good at video games.
Well, he's good at cheating and lying and stealing and doing things that aren't allowed to get ahead in life.
Like using items in Smash Brothers.
Items are meant to be used in Smash Brothers.
Yeah, for casual players.
Items unless they like to turn off fun. That's how Smash Brothers works.
There's definitely some truth to that. There's definitely some truth to that. But most of us don't play games for fun. This isn't a game. It's a way of life.
So you played Scramble, and then you also played Mount Your Friends with Cody, which we know about, and
Crawl.
Anything else?
And then we're sitting there, and then he's like, well, let's turn on just Pokeballs. Like, that's going to fix it.
I did no such thing.
That's going to make it worse than having all items on because it's just Pokeballs, which, like, unarguably shatter the game. Like that definitely will break the game.
I think my girlfriend did that just because she was like, all right, if we're going to play with items, we're going to play with cute little Pokemans.
They were cute, but then I wrecked you all real bad.
Yes. Yes, you did.
So, who's the good competitive player now?
You got me on that one. You got me. You got me bad.
I highly recommend downloading Final Fantasy Record Keeper. It's really fun and uses all original music from the Final Fantasy series. So, like you travel to different realms from each game. Like when you're in battle in Final Fantasy VII, it's the Final Fantasy VII battle music. Same with like 4 and 4. And it somehow uses all the MP3s, even though the game itself is only like 70 megabytes. I think it does a lot of downloading as you play of certain things and maybe streams some of them. I don't know how it works technically, but it uses sound effects and music from every Final Fantasy game in a really seamless, clear way, and it's really cool. So even if it were a boring, crappy game, you'd at least be listening to cool Final Fantasy music, but it's not a boring, crappy game. So I'm hoping to review it next week. I only just started playing it, but I can tell I'm going to get really into it. And it does not seem like a cash grab. It hasn't asked me for money once. I'm not even sure where the money comes in. I'm sure at some point, like with most mobile games, you will reach a certain point where it's like, okay, well now it becomes a bit of a grind unless you want to pay. But it looks like the early game is quite substantial, so it's going to give me at least a few hours of play, probably multiple hours, several hours in fact. Who knows?
Well, maybe it'll be one of those rare mobile games that actually gets some money out of you.
And it could be, yeah. I could spend a couple bucks on it. It's true. So, check it out. Well, John, what did you play this week or whatever?
Well, I finally have embarked on the journey that I have wanted to start for a long time. I decided that I am going to, over the next few months, play through every Final Fantasy game that is a solo experience game. So, like, I'm going to skip over 11, and I'm going to skip over 14, because obviously they are massively multiplayer online games, and they're not games that I can play. And I'm also going to skip 1 and 2 because I don't particularly like them. And I have just recently completed 3, so I'm kind of counting that as one that I just did. So I'm starting with 4.
What about Mobile Record Player, the game?
So that's gonna be the last one that I do is the mobile record player, Final Fantasy game. Yeah, no, that's on my list now because Cody made it sound so good. But yeah, I'm gonna do it. So I started Final Fantasy IV on the PC, and I'm playing it like on the big screen downstairs in my recliner, with like an hour here and there that I have to play games, and it's the 3D version that they released on the DS, and it's beautiful, and it's fun, and it's hard, and it's a good comfort food, and it's good. And so that's the one that I'm starting with, and I'm 2 hours in, and this project is going to take me a long time. But I decided that I'm going to be like playing games concurrently. So like I'll have the occasional time where I'm mobile, where I'll be able to play a game on a mobile device, an iPad or a 3DS. And so I'm going to be playing like games concurrently. So I'm actually like halfway through Final Fantasy VI already. I'm at the floating continent in the World of Balance. And then I'll also be able to play Final Fantasy V once the 4-job Fiesta happens in June, because that'll happen again this year, because it happens every year. So I'll do Final Fantasy V as the 4-job Fiesta again. And then I haven't played 7 in a really long time, but you guys are coming up for MartinCon, and that might be a great time to do that because we've already got a save started. And then
we do have a save started.
And then I'll probably shit all over Final Fantasy VIII because that game is garbage. And then I'll find a way to play 9 and 10 and 12 and and it'll be fun. It'll be good for everybody. So that is what I'll probably be talking about for a long time.
Now, are you going to play Final Fantasy X too?
I don't think so. I think I'm just sticking to like the main numbered games in this particular exercise.
Okay, now Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13 is a main game because it is of the Fabula Nova Crystallis trilogy. So you are contractually obligated to play all of the Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13 Fabula Nova Crystallis games.
Okay. I'm not going to do that.
You own all of them.
I do. And I probably could. But we'll see how long it takes me to get there. I mean, keep in mind that, like, I said I was going to do this, and in 4 days, I've played Final Fantasy IV for 2 hours. And that was, like, the most I could. So we'll see if this is actually something that happens, or if it fizzles out halfway through the first game that I start. But that's my plan.
Yeah, it could be tough. Ryan, what Final Fantasy games have you played through?
Interesting question, Cody. Actually, I've played through Final Fantasy VI. Actually, a couple years ago, I was like, I started Final Fantasy VI many years ago. I rented it. I think we also had to rent an SNES at the time because I didn't own one. And I got about halfway through before I had to return it. And I was like, I never beat that game. So a couple years ago, I went back and I played it. And as I was playing through it, I was like, okay, I'm definitely past the halfway point, and I was totally recognizing everything. So turns out I actually beat it like probably 5 times, and I just kept forgetting that I had beaten it. And that's the only Final Fantasy game that I've ever beaten.
Now, when you played through it the most recent time, did you not use any items the entire time you played the game?
Yes, I didn't use any items except the ones with the M block on it because those, the games, you got to balance the game, right?
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. And that made the game more fun, I'm guessing.
No, it wasn't fun because there was no way I could die, right? Just like you when you were playing that Smash.
Now, as an aside, Final Fantasy VI, of like all of the Final Fantasy games, if you've never played a Final Fantasy game, might be the best one to start with.
Or like in general, the best one.
I mean, that's arguable. I think that they're all, like, oftentimes there's something to like about all of them, and like some people may find other Final Fantasy games better. It doesn't matter. But in terms of like accessibility, like if you're looking for a point of entry into the series, just from like they don't. Sometimes the later Final Fantasy games can get kind of heavy-handed with the like they introduce the world very rapidly. There's a lot of names and things, and it can get very overwhelming if you don't know anything about the world. Because in general, the games share kind of like a common vocabulary. So Final Fantasy VI, I feel like, does one of the best jobs of not dumping it all on you. Like at the beginning of Final Fantasy Tactics, for instance, you get this like crazy story, and it's got a bunch of these proper nouns in it. You don't know where anything is, and it's, you know what I mean? So
it's like Game of Thrones, right?
Exactly.
Which I've seen the first episode of also 5 times, and that's it. So it's kind of just like my experience with the Final Fantasy series.
Final Fantasy VI is also the last game in the series that does not completely jump the shark storyline-wise about 95% of the way through the game. Where suddenly, like, the last dungeon or last villain or last story arc makes no sense at all.
Yeah, I guess I can agree with that.
Final Fantasy VII makes it to the ending. And then the ending, like, I remember playing it in my living room, and I remember watching the ending and seeing the end and being actually angry because I hated the ending so much.
Part of that could be the translation of that game, too. From what I understand, it's not perfect. So,
actually,
yeah.
Final Fantasy VIII did a decent job with the whole Ultimecia thing.
Oh yeah, them all just happening to be at the same orphanage makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Squall is dead after Disc 1.
No, that was
that
was a really good story. So that'll be a project. That'll be a project for a long time. And this 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 at the same time that like I kind of want to buy a PS4. I kind of want to buy a PS4 for Bloodborne because Bloodborne looks awesome. So I don't have any time. I don't have any frickin' time. It's very frustrating. But video games are awesome. Is kind of what I'm trying to say.
Video games are pretty awesome.
Yeah.
They're pretty cool.
They're pretty cool.
And we should wrap up by doing the thing we should have done at the start of the episode. Why did you call it Darrel TV?
Oh, yeah, I actually tried to tell you this story the other night when you were here, but I think it got interrupted by you being an ass
Loud.
with items.
Yeah, I know that
in
sounds.
Smash Brothers, and then I stopped telling the story. But yeah, so my girlfriend plays Fire Emblem, and she was trying to get me to play one of them for the 3DS. The new one. I don't know what it's called, but it's
Awakening? Fire Emblem Awakening?
Sure, we'll call it that, and because it's the name of it. But it's the one with Robin in it, who's also in Smash.
Hot.
Yeah, especially the Robin I did, which was the male Robin, and so I had to choose the name for my Robin. Most people would probably just leave it as Robin, but I have a thing for I've had a thing recently for Darrel because I just think it's a really funny name, and I like things being Darrel because it just instantly makes them like 10 times funnier if something's named Darrel. So I named him Darrel, but then I couldn't like go through a character creation process without making it last at least 2 hours. So as my girlfriend was like screaming at me, just telling me to start the game, one of the names that I came up with was I said, you know, he's not just Darrel. It couldn't just be Darrel, so I used Darrel the Fourth. So it was Darrel IV, but then I changed it to Darrel TV because I thought that was pretty awesome. The guy's name was just Darrel TV, and he was just a character in the game. And she berated me and beat me merciless and told me that I could not use the name Darrel TV. So I changed it back to Darrel IV, but then whenever I would read the storyline or the text in the game out loud all of the time, especially if she was like trying to sleep, whenever I would read it out loud, I would refer to myself as Darrel TV, and she would scream and say, "It's not Darrel TV, it's Darrel the Fourth." And so we were trying to come up with a channel name, and I was like, Darrel TV, and she laughed. And then she was like, oh, wait, could we actually do that maybe? And I was like, I'm totally down. You do not have to convince me at all to use Darrel TV as our channel name. I was instantly sold before I was even born. So that's how we got the channel name, and that's why we bring you all the Darrel, all the 24, 379 every time. 100%. What was the question?
I mean, there is something about a Fire Emblem protagonist being named Darrel that I agree with you is pretty funny.
Yeah, it does take away all credibility from any of the storyline. She's like, there's no way that happened. His name's Darrel.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't trust Darrel.
So, listener, what I would recommend you do is I'm going to assume you have a familiarity with Twitch because I think our general user base might. If you don't, go to Twitch, make an account, poke around with it. It's a pretty cool service. It allows you to watch people play video games. And if you do have a familiarity with it, follow Darrel TV, and we'll be plugging Ryan pretty much from the future out, especially if he streams and I can catch a stream, or Cody can catch a stream, it'll allow us to kind of talk to you about what he's doing, what he's been playing, that kind of thing. We'll probably also be featuring him on future episodes to talk about games that he's playing or has played on stream. So go on and follow Darrel TV on Twitch. That's Darrel TV.
Darrel TV.
And yeah,
I felt I needed to plug myself there right after you just gave me a really long plug.
Yeah, and it should be pretty good. It should be all right. I think oftentimes you stream with your girlfriend Darrel, right?
Yes, she's Darrel the 6th. So.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay, so
she streams with me, and sometimes she just comments and reads the chat, or sometimes she gets in the driver's seat, and I
am Darrel TV.
Am probably really drunk. At the time, I mean, in the video.
it can be a pretty good time. So check that out. And as always, you can check us out at unqualifiedgamers.com. You can check out our YouTube channel, which you might be watching this at that YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/
Unqualified Podcast.
Unqualified Podcast. That also has some other podcasts. Well, it's going to have Unqualified Experts on there more. We'll be recording a new episode of that tomorrow. And yeah, it should be a good time.
And yeah is right. We also are a part of the Go ahead.
Hopefully, we're going to have more content now over the next few months. Like, we're really trying to bring you a variety of content that's not just related to video games. So hopefully you can get on board with that.
Hopefully, it's true. And we are, of course, a part of the Gonna Geek Network, which we've been doing more and more collaborations with recently. There's some really cool shows on there. For example, the Crimson Comet. And this week on the Crimson Comet podcast is their episode 20, where they cover the Flash season 1, episode 16, Rogue Time. Allow me to elaborate. This week on Crimson Comic, Haley, John, and Will discuss the latest episode of the Flash, Rogue Time, which picks up where last week's episode started, forcing the hosts to ponder all of the potential implications of Flash's new time-traveling ability. I've not watched this show, but this sounds good.
People have said Flash is like one of the best new shows like on TV. Yeah.
Well, there you go. We also saw the Rogues return to Central City, which forced the host to ask, how comic booky can these guys possibly sound? Central City. Yeah, that's a pretty comic booky kind of a thing. But anyway, check out episode 20 of Crimson Comet, where they talk about the Flash, season 1, episode 16. I keep almost saying comment, like comet, but it's Comet. Crimson Comet.
Maybe you're just trying to tell people to comment on our videos.
It could be. And if you're not a big Flash guy, maybe you're a Walking Dead fan. This week on Walking the Walking Dead, episode 53, season 5, Spend a Try. In this edition of Walking the Walking Dead, we discuss season 5, episodes 14 and 15, Spend and Try. They record this episode in front of a live studio audience, which leads to a couple great listener feedback questions. Where's the story going, and how will the group mess everything up? Listen to find out. We are hopefully going to have a live studio audience when we record at Gen Con this year, if they ever tell me if our event was successfully registered.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. And for one more quick plug on the official, where are you? Gonna Geek has a podcast. The official GonnaGeek.com podcast. This week is episode 88, JS be Trollin'. This week we get the mind-blowing discovery that JS may have been trolling an episode or two ago. Speaking of trolls, we talk about the idiotic comments that Howard Stern made. Steven is pissed. Where Howard called podcasters losers. Remember how we were having a Mars reality TV program? Yeah, that might be a bit of a scam. And flipping to good news, X-Files is back and Fraggle Rock may make a big screen return. That's all in episode 88. JSB Trollin' of the official GonnaGeek.com podcast. Howard Stern, whatever, I'm over it. The Mars thing, whatever, I'm over it. X-Files, Fraggle Rock, really? Fraggle Rock.
Hey, Ryan, how often do you think you stream? How often do you plan on streaming?
I don't have a set schedule right now, but I have been streaming random weekdays, and most definitely will be streaming on weekends. But hopefully I'll get a set schedule up, which I will post on my Twitch channel.
Perfect. Awesome. And then anytime we'll find a way to send a notification out to people when you do go live.
Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do. But that's all for this episode 106 of the Unqualified, the Underqualified, the Underqualified, Requalifieds. You check us out on the website and then unqualifiedgamers.com. You check us out on the YouTube. Twitch.tv, TV podcast.
Check it out. Check it out, baby.
Coming at your life through the power of YouTube.
Power of the tube.